Welcome back. Parents tread a delicate line during matric study and exam times. On the one hand, they want to be motivating for optimal performance every step of the way, but it's easy to tip over into applying too much pressure on an already stressed out team. It's important for parents to have an accurate take on their child's unique coping mechanisms, as it's not uncommon for teens to be adept at masking anxiety and stress. Ziyanda Khumalo, a student advisor at the South African College of Applied Psychology, joins us to speak more on the matter. Ziyanda, it's by my count roughly 62-ish days until the matric exams start on the 17th of October. It certainly is a jam-packed time full of cramming, revisions, going through exam papers. It's a high-pressure time for teens who, they may or may not have learnt healthy coping mechanisms. So how should parents approach this time with that fine balance in mind between support, encouragement, and perhaps a little bit too much pressure?
So literally one of the things that we'll be breaking down in the webinar is just that the focus really needs to be trying to ensure that parents do assess whether they're applying pressure or they're applying motivation. And this can be done in ways where you're able to look at what is the emotional reaction that your child currently has. Are they focused on the perfectionism element where it's just based on I need to pass and not necessarily I need to ensure that I am ready for this journey and it's a journey I'm ready to take? Are they having troubles to sleep? Are they getting stomach aches? Because that's also signs of too much pressure. Are they losing interest in studying where you need to constantly remind them, or you feel as though they're probably not studying or they're not doing enough? So the aim really is to just look at the responses that children are giving. So you as the parent, you're able to say, okay, I think I may be doing a bit too much in terms of the pressure. I possibly need to find a different way to support them and try and ensure that they feel as though I'm there holding their hand and cheering them on.
So the webinar you're referring to is a webinar on the 19th of August, if I'm not mistaken, specifically aiming to give parents sort of a toolkit that they can use to sort of not only journey through this next difficult 2 months, but to get the best out of their teen. And I want to get to that point that you said there, where, teens, sometimes have, their own troubles being disciplined about studying. So parents have to really understand, what is my teen doing? Are they doing enough? And then to give them the support they need. And it's not just emotional support, is it? Tell us about some of the other ways that parents should be supporting teens at this time.
Right. So just in terms of the other ways, it's really supporting them in terms of allowing them to set the goals that they need to set, and you as a parent saying, I will set more realistic expectations for you as my child. I know that this journey is tricky. I know that there's so many expectations I might have upon you, but they need to be realistic. They need to be achievable. They need to align with the goals that the student has set for themselves. They need to be able on ensuring that they are promoting a balance for the child. They're able to say, as much as it's exam season, as much as there's so much preparation going into that time, you're still allowed to take a breather. You're still allowed to say, Mom, Dad, actually on Saturday, I need to go out a little bit. I need to go watch a movie. It's all about the balance of things, because as soon as the pressure feels too overwhelming for a student, they crack. And that's when we see the lowering grades. That's when we see the pressure in such a way that they don't even feel like writing. They don't feel like waking up. They don't feel like studying. So the aim really is for the support to feel like, how am I walking with you? Not how am I walking behind you, not how am I walking ahead of you, how am I walking with you? How am I allowing you to say, it's your journey, but I'm here if you need me. Yeah.
So that's also providing them with the right tools that they need, whether that's physical tools, study materials, if they need a quiet environment, if they need healthy food, encouragement to sleep, and perhaps discipline might come in there. Some teens are very independent and don't want their parents interfering with their own study schedule. Others might need a little bit more encouraging, and I suppose under stress that parents may be experiencing themselves as well. They might be tempted to threaten. But I suppose if you think of it as well, threatening and saying that, well, if you don't study and if you don't get great marks, the rest of your life is going to be ruined. That's not healthy either.
Not at all, not at all. So the biggest thing in that, it actually demotivates the student, if anything. It somewhat throws in the element of comparison. It throws in the element of the loss of autonomy. And as soon as they lose that autonomy and they feel like they don't have control over the outcome, over what this journey is supposed to look like for them, they lose interest. They literally hit default mode, and it's so difficult getting them out of that. So even as parents, the aim is to be able, when you're feeling that coming through, be able to calm yourself down and say, actually, if I am to voice that or say that to them, it might just demotivate them, it might derail them. What is a different way for me to say, I'm worried about you, I'm concerned, I'm not seeing as much effort? Because sometimes it's not necessarily that they're not doing anything. Sometimes it's that you don't understand their study method. Sometimes it's that you don't know, while you're asleep, they're waking up at 2 a.m. to study. While you're up, they're resting so that they can do the same thing again. So the aim really is to ensure that you're aware of what type of a student your child is. That's the first thing you need to understand in order to know how to support them and where to support them. Yeah.
Before I let you go, tell us very quickly where parents who sound or feel like they need some of these tools to help them cope and to help their teen cope with this next 2 months, where can they get information about the webinar?
Right, so they can head over to www.sacap.edu.za. So in full, that is www.sacap.edu.za. On the main page, the dashboard is where they'll see the Parents Guide to Matric Support webinar, and they'll be able to just click on that to register. It's completely free. This is happening on the 19th of August. It's a Saturday from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I'm sure you're going to be flooded with the registrations as parents try and help their teens cope with what is to come in less than 62 days. Thank you so much. That was Ziyanda Khumalo, a student support and development advisor, talking to us as we head up to the matric final exams, which start on the 17th of October.